Our next guest we've had on the show, usually she comes in the studio, but she's got some other stuff going on, so she is calling in from home tonight. Erica Lukes is our next guest. She became interested in the subject of UFOs at the age of 6 when she picked up her first book on UFOs. She has spent the last 25 years studying the phenomenon with her interest focused on abduction research. Dr. John Mack, Bud Hopkins, Kathleen Martin, and Dr. Frank Salisbury have been an inspiration to her. She joined MUFON and became a field investigator after several unexplained sightings she had in the Salt Lake City area. Her sightings were eerily similar to those of Dr. Lynn Katai, the Phoenix Lights. After researching MUFON case files, she became convinced that there has been unexplained phenomena for decades and that most of them are related. She works with Jan Hartson at MUFON headquarters, and she was recently appointed state director for the state of Utah by MUFON, and she has just done an excellent job. She has dug in. We have gone for so long without a state director. So without any further delay, let's get her on the line. Erica, good evening. Welcome to Fringe Radio and K-Talk.
Oh, yeah, I'm so happy to be here with you. I've missed you, and it's just always a pleasure to be with you.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for taking time out of your busy weekend to be here with us.
Well, I couldn't think of anything more exciting to do. So,
okay. No, it's it's anything with ufology is exciting, and you have just jumped into this full force.
I have a problem that way. If I get interested in something, then I just go for it. And I've always had an interest in this, like you were mentioning. And after my sightings, I knew that there was a need for people to find a place in Utah or people in Utah to talk to and investigate sightings that were taking place, in the flight corridors for the international airports. We, also live very, very close to some military installations, and I think that it's important for us to know what's going on in our environment.
Exactly. Well, we went for so long without having a state director here. I know we had different people that kind of stepped up to the role a little bit. Marley Spenlove, who of course has been so instrumental in all this fringy stuff here in Utah, and Alien Dave, and so many other people in the state that have dug in. I mean, they've dedicated big portions of their life to get on board and figure things out and dig in. But we really needed that representation, and you've brought that.
Well, thank you very much. It's fun because I talked to Alien Dave last night, and Marley is all of these people are people that I respect tremendously, and that I talk to frequently, and we have such great resources here. But I think when you do something for a long time and then you have a hard time getting people excited or keeping people together, it wears on you. And so sometimes when you get somebody new to come in and get everybody excited, then that's great. But Alien Dave is still doing he's just always out at Dugway or by Dugway, and he's always doing really cool videos. He's one of my favorite people. I really like him.
He is, well, and he's been for years. I mean, he had matter of fact, his website is still up and going. I know he doesn't update it that much anymore, but all the different links and all the different videos, and then he's created a fantastic YouTube channel where, I mean, they make, it's like studio quality films.
He's amazing that way. And I have to say, he came over, we had a MUFON meeting here about 3 weeks ago, which was really fun. Meryl Cook was here, and Dave came over and he brought me just the coolest decals. And so I've got this little alien for the back of my car that is so cool.
Yeah, I bought one of those.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he put those out at Comic-Con a couple years ago. They are cool.
They are cool, and I keep saying, you should think about, making those so we can put them on the UFO audit website and just, get them sold or give them out to people, because they're really awesome. And he's always doing something. He works so hard. I just, and Ryan Burns as well. There's so many people that dedicate their life to researching this, and they get, not as much credit as they deserve, because this is a tough field.
Well, it is because so many people, I mean, I think things are changing, and, maybe you would agree with that. Things are definitely starting to change, but there's still a lot of people that think that we're a bunch of kooks.
Yeah, and isn't that sad? And I mean, that shocks me. And the more I learn about this subject, the more it makes me angry. Because if you're an intelligent human being and you spend 45 minutes looking at government documents, looking at witness testimony, you know without a doubt that this phenomenon is very real, it is happening, and it needs immediate attention.
Right. Well, and like I told you during the break or before we started, I had actually, it's been a long time, but I've had the opportunity, I'm with working nighttime for my job. I've been working evenings and into the early morning hours. I've had the opportunity to go out and take a little break at, in the wee hours of the morning, and I've been seeing some crazy things in the skies that are not Delta airline jets flying into Salt Lake City. I've been seeing some strange stuff that's been happening.
And it seems to be, people are, and I don't know whether it's just that we're paying attention to it more, or, I don't know if if it's increasing in its frequency. We seem to be getting more reports with MUFON. We've had some strange reports come in from southern Utah, especially St. George. And so I spent last week trying to figure out, okay, what's happening. I talked to the airport spokesman. Nothing out of the ordinary there. We know Jade Helm is going on, so where is that taking place? It's not in any of those areas down there specifically where the sightings occurred. So the more you really dig in and research and figure out, okay, what's military, what's happening here? Is it a drone? Is it a Chinese lantern? Don't even get me started on that one.
Right.
But, there is a lot of unexplained phenomena, and our job at MUFON is to educate the public and to teach our field investigators to become better trained observers, which is important, and to really get excited about looking up, paying attention, and submitting reports, which is essential to us collecting data.
Right. Well, tell me, I briefly skated over your bio, but for our listeners that have not heard about you or have not listened to you when you've been on before, why don't you give a little bit of your background as far as how you got involved with all this?
Oh boy, that's quite exciting. So my background is I'm a professional singer, but I've always been, and maybe because I'm a little artistic, who knows, I've had a lot of interesting experiences in my life. I had lots of paranormal experiences. I lived in a home that was haunted, and it was documented and on the news and in magazines, and it was really very cool. But I always was reading about paranormal phenomena and UFOs, abductions, and so I was open to it, and I looked up and I paid attention. But that didn't mean that I was going to say anything in the atmosphere was a UFO. But in 2013, I was sitting on my porch one night with my friends, and I have a great view of the valley, but I noticed this big, beautiful, it was just this glowing orange sphere, and it looked different to me. It was a contained light, and like I said, it was just absolutely stunning. And I knew it wasn't a plane, and I got my binoculars, and we were watching it, and, soon after we were watching it, a little one appeared to drop out of the big one, and the little one went around in a circle, and then they both, move off, and I just, we were all sitting there like, did that really just happen? And so it was from that point on that I every night I got my video camera out, and I sat there like, I'm sure my neighbors are just like, oh, Lord, what is she doing today? I keep the neighborhood entertained, but that's okay. So I got some great footage, and it's footage that has been on Jaime Maussan shows in Mexico several times, and I've, been, it's incredible, and still to this day, I don't know what it is. And when that happened to me, it was so shocking and amazing and a little bit frightening to me that I called the FAA. I called Hill Air Force Base. That did not do a lot of good, I'll just say. But I reached out, talked to Peter Davenport, found MUFON, and that's when I really knew that this was something that I needed to pursue because there wasn't a real representation for anybody here in Utah.
Right.
So, it was so cool, and I will say that I have met the most amazing people I've ever met in my life. I feel like I don't know whether. I feel like this path was just laid out in front of me, and every day I get to talk to. I had a great conversation with Nick Redfern last week. I talked to all of these fabulous people, Chris Rutowski. I get to pick their brains, and they're very helpful in, assisting me, especially with this new MUFON research project. And it's really a cool experience. I would urge anybody to get involved with it. It's fantastic.
Well, and you guys have the tools and stuff to place. You have the tools and stuff in place to keep it all moving. It sounds like MUFON is kind of stepping it up instead of just being a. I'm not saying that they never did, but instead of just being a data collection repository, now you guys are starting to move in different directions.
We are, and I think that, and I have not been in MUFON under anybody else, but I do feel, especially working with the executive director, Jan Harzan, on a daily basis, I feel that he's incredibly gifted, intelligent, thoughtful leader, and he has, he wants to see our education expand. He wants to see, our database become more user friendly. So when people are submitting reports, it doesn't feel like, oh my, Lord, after looking at it for 2 minutes, I'm just going to tune out. And then when we're investigating as field investigators, it will make it easier for us to, pick up patterns and then identify things that are happening, on a state by state basis and a national basis and a worldwide basis, and that I think will really be important to researching this and taking this to the next step.
Now, let me ask you, the MUFON files, the stuff that's uploaded, is that available for public viewing, or is that all pretty confidential?
You know what? Anybody can get on the MUFON database and do a search, and It will give you pretty much a majority of the case. We have to keep out people that have chosen to remain anonymous because anonymity is incredibly important.
Right.
And, but we're also working to become more transparent, to make it easier for the public to see what we've been doing, to see the research projects we've done. And right now, MUFON headquarters is in the process of taking all of the paper files and then loading them downloading them into the computer, and then we'll get that on the MUFON website as well, so people can look through old case files.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah, it's really, really fascinating.
Well, and I think what would be good about it, too, is that maybe somebody, because one person stepped forward, there may be other people that saw the same thing and were a little afraid to move forward, and they'll feel more of a community. They'll feel a little more at ease about reporting things.
I think that is incredibly important, and you really touched a good point, because so many of us feel when we come forward with sightings, even though they are very real, that if we talk about it, we're going to be labeled, like we're in the tinfoil hat club. And I know for me, when I'm very open about my sightings and my personal experiences, and, there was you could see the look in people's eyes, and it's almost, they just roll their eyes, okay, yeah, whatever. And it was very disheartening for me, but then I knew that, gosh, if I feel this way, and I'm pretty strong-willed and have a, I can only imagine how other people feel, and that's not fair. Nobody should ever feel ashamed for coming forward with something that is real and that it's happened to them.
So what's going on? You know, as I mentioned before we got on the air, I've seen objects in the sky. I'm looking up more in the in the sugar house. Like I said, if I had to give a coordinate, I'd say it was over the sugar house area. Never thought twice about a drone, but I don't think I would see a drone from Taylorsville to Sugar House, where I live up on the west side of the valley. But saw this object that, was circling one way, went the other way, and then shot off on a 45-degree angle. It wasn't an orb, I don't believe. Could have been, but I'm seeing a lot of crazy things in the night sky out where I live.
You know what? I think once you tune into it, and once you just give it a little bit of time, when you go out there, you will start seeing things that don't make sense, that are not necessarily explainable objects. And, I told you when I first called in, my dear friend and cameraman, Matt Hepworth, he was out videotaping some stuff the other day, and he had a pretty great sighting. And he's not a skeptic, but he's very reserved with jumping to the conclusion that something is unidentified.
Right.
And this, for him, was, it was pretty interesting. So we'll see what happens. It's fascinating, though, and I hope I can do my job here and just get people in Utah to become more engaged and to know that they've got a resource, and hopefully people will come to some MUFON meetings, because they're actually a lot of fun.
Now, you're starting to do, I've kind of lost touch a little bit. This summer's been kind of a blur for me, but are you going to post those up, or is there information on those meetings? Are they closed? Are they private, or by invitation?
Oh, no, you know what? I want everybody and anybody to come, and I will post those on Facebook and keep everybody updated on that. And we've had people come. I mean, my gosh, we had somebody drive for 4 hours to come to our last MUFON meeting.
Wow.
And it was so fabulous to just see how excited people are, and we're getting more field investigators, some incredible investigators that are joining forces with us, and that's what will really make the difference for us collecting some good data here in Utah.
And I see it's called MUFON Utah if you search it on Facebook.
Yes, yep.
Gotcha.
And so I will be posting stuff there, so definitely, find MUFON on Facebook, or you can go to UFO Audit, and I'll post meetings there too on Facebook. And, just keep everybody informed. It's really a great thing. And with Alien Dave and Meryl Cook now involved, it makes meetings very, very just not entertaining, but fun, and you learn so much. I guess it is entertaining. I have a good time.
Oh, no, it is. It's very interesting. I mean, and again, it's a place where people can talk about stuff. They can talk about all these things that some may call strange or out of the ordinary, but people are seeing things all the time. I know you mentioned when you were here last time on the program about seeing these orbs that are flying around quite a bit, and people are noticing more of those, and they're not Chinese lanterns. They're orbs, and I know one of our listeners that listens to us in Inception, she often comments about the changing colors when these orbs actually change colors. Do they emanate, a different feeling? Does that does it signify something when they change colors? Because some do. I've seen pictures of them going from red to white to blue. What's doing that?
It's interesting, and I think that first of all we need to get over this feeling that I think some, not everybody. I have to tread lightly here, but people make the determination, or they come into an investigation sometimes with a bias, and I admit from my own personal experiences I have done that as well. But people will write off credible cases and give the disposition that perhaps they're Chinese lanterns, or they're this or they're that. But when you look further into the case, you analyze the wind patterns. They're moving against the wind, And it just simply the way they're behaving and maneuvering, and the fact that some of these sightings, these orbs, are in one place for 45 minutes. We know that Chinese lanterns don't do that. So we need to really work on educating the public so we can rule out Chinese lanterns. And also here in Utah, they're illegal. You will be fined if you are launching Chinese lanterns, and that is the case almost with every state across the country. So the likelihood of things being Chinese lanterns decreases when you have restrictions like that.
Right. Well, yeah, wasn't it I think this year, I thought I saw a sign, you weren't even allowed to light fireworks east of Wasatch Boulevard or east of State Street this year?
Well, and that's good, but that does, you have to admit there are people that are, like to tempt fate and
right.
and stuff, and so, I'm sure there are people that, buy Chinese lanterns off of wherever, but I just think in a lot of these sightings that's not the case. They're not Chinese lanterns.
Oh, no, I totally agree. But I believe those lanterns, they're dangerous, and people need to, especially here with all the dry weather. We've got a caller on line 4. You want to take a call?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's get him on. Caller, good evening. Welcome to K-Tuck. You're on with Erica.
Hey, pal, how you doing? This is Harv.
Hey, Harv, what's going on, brother?
Not much. I like what she's saying, especially I was thinking that Arco, Idaho was the first one that ever ran a nuclear reactor.
Okay, where was that at now?
Arco, Idaho. I lived there for a while.
Okay.
And then, the City of Rocks. I don't know if it's the newest federal reservation, but I saw so many things with my friend Lila Wakely. We used to go over there. She was 75 at the time. She was the smartest person I ever met. And we used to go watch things take off into the stratosphere. It was crazy. I loved it. And I was younger then, and my fear factor wasn't so high. But what she's saying makes a lot of sense. I spot things in her story that I know something about.
Right.
And I just wanted to call and say hallelujah.
Well, thank you. And I know what you mean about getting older and eating. When I was younger, I was fearless. The things I look back on, and I did. I was playing with the Ouija board, just going out there and tempting fate. And now, the older I get and the more I learn, the more respect I have for stuff. And so I'm definitely a little bit more reserved. But thank you for calling in.
Yeah, thanks for calling, Herb. Good to hear from you, brother.
Man, it's good to hear you. And I'm glad you're there, and I'm glad you had her on because, thing is, the stuff's out there. And I don't think, that's like a double negative. I think that truth is, there are people covering it up. Otherwise, it would be in plain sight.
Oh, I agree.
What about sis? Sis?
What do you think, Erica?
What about the people covering it up?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. It's like going down a rabbit hole. You hear a lot of things, and whether all of these things are true, I don't know. But, I've been contacted by people that have warned me to be careful and to be quiet.
And let me ask you this real quick, Sissy. you think that it's just all about power? I mean, on this planet, the government, or do you think it goes to another level, which could be God and the war in heaven, or is there another level? I mean, I can't figure it out. How come we can? Why can't we just share information and everybody, get along? Eh? What do you think, sis?
I think, that I wish everybody could too, because I prefer to live in a nice, supportive, kind society that's transparent, where we're all helping each other. But I don't understand what's going on. But it would appear to me that there are people in power that will do anything, including, intimidating people and perhaps worse, to keep people quiet. And that's been the case for a long time.
Do you think they're so afraid of death that they somehow or another think that by putting the rest of the people down because they have the armaments, that somehow they're going to live longer? I mean, I don't get that part.
I think at the end of the day, it all comes down to probably money. I really believe that the people in power don't want to lose their power positions, the money.
Don't they know they're going to die?
You would think so, but who knows? I think people oftentimes don't maybe think about the long term. They're greedy and selfish, and that's life.
I'm greedy and selfish, and yet I know I'm going to be dead soon.
Well, don't say that.
I will, but I try to do the right thing. So why don't people just try to kumbaya, as they say?
Well, maybe we could all just have a little kumbaya moment. That's what we need to do, because I think that I think most of the people in the world really are good, genuine people, and it's too bad.
99% of the people I ever met was good people.
Yeah.
Remember when I was on Guam, they said, "Don't you mix with the Chamorros because they'll kill you." I'm like, great. I went out and met them first off. They was good folks. And so...
Yeah, I got calls stacked up. I got to let you go.
Oh, sorry. All right, you guys, it was good to hear you.
Nice to talk to you. Thank you.
You too, sissy.
All right, hold on, Harv. Have a good night. Take care, brother.
All right, goodbye.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
He tells it like it is. Let's take the next call. Caller, good evening. You're on with Erica on K-Talk.
Hello.
Hello.
I have been studying UFOs for a long time, and one of my, I know they're here. This last caller, I mean, one theory why they're not telling us is they think if they announce to the public that there are aliens here, we'd probably all, or some of us, would pack up and go to the hills, like the Orson Welles.
Right, right. War of the Worlds.
Yeah, so I don't know why they're covering it all up, but for some reason they are. Anyway,
it's interesting. There are lots of theories as to why the big cover-up has been going on for so long, but I really think the longer it goes on, the more I look at the possibility that, if the military came out and admitted, yes, Roswell was real and we've known about this for 50 years, that, people would lose a lot of faith in their elected officials. And that doesn't look good.
The other thing that amazes me is that China went to the moon. They probably know aliens are here, and some other countries have seen a lot of things. And it's I mean, I know the United States doesn't want to announce it, but all these other countries too. It almost seems like a conspiracy. Keep it quiet.
we wonder why that is the case. I think with the U.S. government, lots of other countries are, and you're right, disclosing information, and they are setting up research groups to look into this, and they're very forthright about that. So hopefully, well, I mean, who knows if that will happen here, but it's going to have to be a grassroots thing where we just keep doing research, like with organizations like MUFON, and get the word out, and then soon people won't be able to deny the truth.
Yeah, I think it's going to be some other country like China that finally announces it first. Anyway, the big question I come down to after believing in UFOs for many years is, I'm wondering if they are Christians, or if they're watching us to see the second coming, or if they're something beyond Christianity, or what their spirituality is.
Oh, boy, I don't know. I would like to find out, though. And gosh, I don't know. I think that, you hear so many different stories about that. I definitely think that when you look at some of, like Dr. Stephen Greer or James Gilliland, you look at people that have a very intuitive and almost a sacred connection with these light beings, and I think that they would believe that these entities are here to really assist Earth, and so that would be nice. I hope that that's the case. But who knows? I don't know. We will see. But that's the thing. We need to research this so we can figure it out, and we don't need to do it in 10 years. We need to start it today.
That's the thing. People are sick of waiting.
Yeah. No, I think everybody is, and we can't afford to wait. We really cannot afford to wait, because we just don't know if it is a threat, or if the military have been, in fact, making the decisions to shoot these objects down, or make decisions where we need to be informed. We as citizens need to be able to make our own mind up as to how we want to interact with these other beings.
My theory is that the aliens they do believe in Jesus, so you could call them Christians, and they're watching us. They know the second coming is coming, and they want to watch the whole thing, and they're all good aliens. Somehow the bad aliens are banned from even coming in our space anywhere. That's my own theory.
Well, I like your theory.
Yep,
that's a good one.
And
I think, yeah. Have you had experiences then?
No, I personally have not. I'm sorry to say, but I've had several close friends that have confided in me experiences they had. All people I trust. About 4 people who have. One lady saw. This was. She said it was like 3 decades ago, but she saw a giant UFO over Magna in Utah, and hundreds of people saw it, and it was in the paper the next day, and then nothing else was said after that. For one example.
Isn't that interesting? I mean, I have old case reports from Utah, and I've got news clippings that date back 40 years, and same type of thing. And here's a large object seen over a densely populated area, and it makes a little section in the paper, and then nothing else.
Yeah. On your, I'd like to come to your meetings. Do I have to go to Facebook, or can you give out the meeting time over the air?
You know what? I need to get a meeting time, so I would love to. We can get your information or just email utahmufon1@gmail.com, and I will send you the information when we get the next meeting up and going. I think I've just been a big slacker is what my problem is.
Life is busy.
But I need to get a meeting.
Utah email 1?
It's utahmufon1@gmail.com.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, we will. I'll look forward to having you there. That would be great.
Yeah, because I love this stuff. And, I mean, we know these aliens are advanced. They can get here so fast from other planets and stuff. My gosh, there's so much we could learn from them, and let alone the most important thing, maybe we could learn spirituality from them. I'll bet you they tell us they don't have any wars. They've learned how to get beyond that. They have learned how to love and stuff like that. And boy, this planet, could we ever use some of that information from them?
No, we could, and I like the last guest, his quote. He was talking about what Ronald Reagan said when he was addressing the United Nations, and how quickly our differences would dissolve if we were faced with an ET threat, and that is so true. But I believe in the best of humanity, and I think that we could. We all have that capability of being like that. It's just there are a few people that have had power for a long time, and I know this just from personal experiences too. When you don't pay attention to what goes on in politics or in your surroundings, a lot of corrupt people can get into positions of power, and so we need to be, not only we need to be accountable in our life and make good decisions and pay attention to what goes on and help other people and we can't just hide in the corner. We need to take this on.
Yeah, exactly, and talk about it.
Yeah,
exactly.
One other thing, you probably heard this, but in the Bible there was in the New Testament there was a star over Bethlehem, and the 3 kings went. That's how they found Bethlehem and gave the gifts to Jesus and everything. Well, you can't get a star, which is like our sun or something, anywhere near the planet Earth, or it would fry the whole Earth. And when a star is, millions of miles up in the sky like they are, you can't tell what city that's over. To me, it was obviously a UFO over that city. They followed that light and found Bethlehem and gave the gifts. But the writers of the Bible, I think, thought, even they, way back then, thought this would freak people out, so they changed it from a UFO over Bethlehem to a star was over Bethlehem. But there's other examples, that are really obvious. UFOs or aliens were involved.
Well, hey, appreciate your call tonight. Thank you for calling in.
You bet.
Okay.
Get in touch with me. We'll see you at the MUFON meeting.
Yes, we'd love to see you there. I'm going to be there. I got to be there.
Yes.
Will do.
Yeah, and we can even put a link we really need to put a link on our site to your site. You want to take another phone call?
Yeah, and if I know we've got some people in the chat room, and thanks, guys, for hanging in there. We'll get to your questions, because you've got some good ones, so thank you.
We will. Caller, good evening. Welcome to K-Talk. You're on with Erica Lukes.
Hey, how's it going, Pat, Erica?
Doing good.
Hi.
I kind of follow that, with the belief that there's so many different kinds of extraterrestrials, and they probably all have some ability to communicate with one another, that anything that's done here is on the down low, because we're more of a stock, kind of like a warehouse stock of humanoids that are used from time to time. Simply, you there?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
And that Jesus was simply just a hybrid that they watched and just to see how things went.
Hey,
It was it. Yeah, interesting. Very interesting. What do if you did you listen to the first hour where we had
Yeah, I actually called.
oh yeah, we had AR on again, a lot of things that he had to say were quite interesting, where even back then, kind of like the last caller mentioned, there might have been more of a connection to this whole ufology extraterrestrial thing than we realized.
So what do you think, Erica? Do you think there's multitudes, possibly into the hundreds, of different kinds of extraterrestrials?
I absolutely. I think when you look out at everything and you realize how many discoveries we're making every day, statistically, there would have to be, and so I think it's endless. And then the point is we just don't know, but we have to quit cutting ourselves off. And I think people are really funny about that. And I don't know why they think that we are the end-all, be-all, and that nobody could ever, I don't know. It's interesting. It gets frustrating sometimes because people don't look at things rationally, and they think that we're the ones who don't. And that's, pretty interesting.
I believe that the Native Americans may have one up on us as far as the relationship goes between us versus them. And I believe that they keep, their secrets, and some of them leak out on shows like Hangar One, where they talk about Native Americans and UFOs. But I do believe we're more or less a stock, that is kept here, probably of minimal consequence, whether we're here one day or not the next. I doubt they would even miss us. But yet, since we're here, they pay attention, extreme attention to us while we're here. But that we're not really as important as we think we are. And that's kind of where we need to realize our situation is that they are not trying to be all that, but they are that. They're not trying to be all that. They have a lot of spiritual growth. They probably have more spiritual growth than we even know. And, when I say that, I mean they're probably closer to angels than we probably give them credit for. What do you think of that?
I like it. I think that's.
Hey, Harv, are you on the line?
Yes, sir.
Well, I heard you talk. What was your comments on this?
Well, I think, for one thing, we can travel faster than the speed of light. Now, they always say we can't. So that makes us shut down on the thinking thing. And Zach Sitchin, Zachariah Sitchin, and you know who I mean.
Right.
Yeah, well, they were having the fingers. It was a little movie that was pretty cool about how they started. Now, I met Zach Sitchin, Salt Lake, off of K-Talk, and he was doing a thing. And I asked him, I said, do you believe in God? And he goes, that's a complicated question. And I said, yes, it is, certainly. And so the reason I called back in, because absolutely, DNA, Dead Sea Scrolls, over in the fingers. I mean, think about it. this place has been well, we've been DNA star child. There's no doubt in my mind.
Right.
Now I'm 60, and I'm not a little kid, and I think that, gosh, wouldn't it be nice just to this was fun for me. It always is when I'm talking to you, old kid.
Yeah, and just enjoying life and looking at life differently.
Yeah, sure. You know, Debbie was trying to come down Weaver Canyon, and there was a wreck over the freeway. So she had to go over to Park City to get home. I was terrified every minute. And I got to thinking how much I care about the people that I care about.
Right.
And so maybe there is more than one life. Maybe there's not. I did some peyote with Indian medicine man just to find out. And that was kind of weird.
Kind of an eye-opening experience.
Yes.
Hey, guys,
Hey,
I
got one
go ahead,
quick question.
and then we got to take an NBC news break. Go ahead real quick.
Okay, yeah, I just want to know what Erica's, if she's got a book out and what her website is.
You know, I don't have a book out. I've been thinking about that, and I've had a lot of encouragement from some pretty amazing people. I know. I think I will. It's crazy because I never, in my wildest dreams, thought that I would do something like that. But it just seems natural, and there's so many amazing things that I want to share. So I think I will. And thank you for asking. But my website is...
I'll help you write it. You'll have to delete every fourth word.
Well, it would probably be better you should help me write it because we would have a good time. In fact, we should get together and do some videos. That would be fun.
You're a good kid.
All right, guys.
Thanks for being alive.
It's fun to talk to you. And, you know, I think if you go to UFO Audit, that's my website. So you can go there.
Say again.
It's called UFO Audit.
Audit.
Okay.
And I'm just, you know, getting on there and putting stuff up every day and trying to reach out to different researchers and then get good articles on. And I've got a Facebook page. It's UFO Audit too. And then there's the Erica Lukes. So all sorts of ways to get a hold of me. But I love talking to everybody and hearing everyone's stories. And
what's your email?
Great. It's UtahMUFON1@gmail.com.
Hey, I was up in the Sawtooth Mountains, and I saw, I was with, I don't know, I can't remember the name, but anyway, it was hovering and then just shot straight up. It was crazy. It was like, who's that basketball player? He said, what does he say? What's his word? It's terrible.
Terrible. Oh, what, Charles Barkley?
yeah. You know, I've just barely been practicing that one because I can't do Chris Walken.
All right, I got to let you guys go. I got to take a news break. Thanks for calling in.
You.
All right,
Thank
bye-bye.
you.
All right, little brother.
We got another hour to go.
All right, you guys.